Hello friends, let's see what's new with the latest Home Assistant release 2022.5. As usual, I'll not only list you the new things in this release, instead I'm going to demonstrate them to you as best as I can. And because I have no imagination, and I didn't think of any more words to serve as my intro, I'll just skip this part and I'll directly go to the Home Assistant 2022.5 release notes. The first thing is a reorganized configuration menu again. I'll just show you the before and after. This black part of the screen is the 2022.4 Home Assistant and the white part is 2022.5, the latest one. And apart from the colors that I did on purpose, this is the black theme, this is the white, you can immediately see that there are a lot of differences. The Home Assistant Cloud, same as before, this is now Casa. After that we have devices and services, same as before, no changes here. Then we have automations and scenes, again it's the same, with that minor difference that blueprints are now also inside automations and scenes. In the previous version we had scenes, scripts and helpers. In the new one we have automations, scenes, scripts and blueprints. I'm going back. Next item is areas and zones, which are combined in this new version 2022.5. Before this release, zones were combined with people right here, and areas were in devices and services areas, like that. Now they are combined in the newer version. Areas and zones are here. I'm going back again to the main configuration. Next thing is add-ons. Add-ons are now alone in Home Assistant 2022.5. Add-on store is also here, where in the older version add-ons were grouped with backups and supervisor. Here it is, backups and supervisor. This is the old 2022.4 release and this is the 2022.5 again, I'm saying this. Supervisor menu has been fully merged into these menus and there is no separate single menu for supervisor. Dashboards are exactly the same. No changes here, as you can see. Next we have tags. They are also not changed. And then we have people, like we discussed earlier. Before we have people and zones, now we only have people and users. Zones are moved with the areas. Next we have a system menu. To help you further in your smart home journey, I created a smart home glossary that contains the most common words and abbreviations that are used in the smart home world. Go on my website automatelife.pro/glossary and download this glossary. It is absolutely free and it is very useful. Now let's continue with what's new in Home Assistant 2022.5 release. Inside this system menu we have General, which is very similar to the previous configuration settings. General, this one. Okay, next we have updates. It is exactly the same as with this update. Logs are here as well. I can change the core, supervisor, host and so on from this drop down menu. After that we have backups. Before that the backups were grouped with add-ons, backups and supervisor. Here what we have next, analytics is here. You can enable and disable Home Assistant analytics from this menu. Network is right here. This was part of the supervisor menu before, now it's separated. Then we have storage, which is nice. Hardware, from here we can reboot the host and we can shut it down. And finally the system health, which was previously available in settings info. Yes, exactly the same. So these were the changes in the configuration menu. I'm recommending you to use this magnifying glass to find, for example, integrations, navigate, and you're going there. Or for example, automations, navigate and you're going to your automations. Use this, you can use the shortcut C, which invoke the same search bar, and you can type restart, for example, and you immediately see the restart menu, and you can click on it to restart it instead of looking for the restart. And when we are talking about the restart, one more important thing, now the restart is located in the developer tools YAML configuration. From here you can check the configuration and restart your Home Assistant. From here you can also reload the YAML configuration. This menu before was inside the system server controls. I don't know what exactly to say about these changes, because we already had one big menu reorganization not so long ago. I think it was in 2021.12 release, and after this reorganization I received a lot of complaints and comments under my videos and articles from people saying, this is not working, your tutorial is not working. It is working, but the menu is on different place. Changes like this makes most of the video tutorials available at the moment obsolete. And not because they are not working, but because the menus are changed, they are in different place now. And I can update my articles, but for the videos I cannot update already published videos. This is the part that I didn't like about these changes. On the other hand, some of the changes are reasonable. That was my opinion. Please let me know in the comments, what do you think? Do you like this change or not? Do you like the new menu or the older one is better? Let's see the next update. Gauge card segment colors. Okay, that's not very interesting. You can now add segments to the gauge. What else? And their colors, you can change them. Nothing interesting really. Not for me, but for you it can be interesting. You can share your opinion in the comments. Next new things that are introduced in Home Assistant 2022.5 are exciting. For example, this if-then statement that is added in the automations. You can use that in the automations, and more specific in the actions section. Let's see this example right here. If state zone home is 0, that means nobody's home, then start the vacuum in the living room area. Else, notify that the cleaning is skipped. Very good, very clear. YAML representation as well. You can edit this using the visual editor. Let's see this. I'll maximize the newer version 2022.5 and I'll go to automations and scenes. Luckily it's in the same place as before and I can find it easily. I'm kidding. I'll create a new automation. I'll start with an empty one. The name will be if, then else. The trigger will be state. The entity will be a button. This will be the trigger. The action will be if then. And this is pretty self-explanatory. I also have a test button right here. For example, let's try if state of the entity, for example, WLAD. I don't have much entities here in this test Home Assistant installation, So use what I have. If the state of the WLAD entity is on, then call service. The service will be persistent notification create, and the message is WLAD, don't correct me please, is still on. I have some stars right here next to the then and next to the if statement. That means this if and then statements are a must. You have to populate them in order your automation to work. Opposite to that, the else doesn't have a star. That means this statement is optional. You can skip the else, but I'll add one. My else statement will be again call service. The service will be persistent notification create, and the message will be something like that. WLAD is off. Save. My automation is saved successfully. Now, if I go back to the overview section of my Home Assistant, I can see my buttons here, and if I press the A button, I'll see that notifications are increased, and because the WLAD is off, I'm receiving the persistent notification saying exactly that. If I enable the WLAD and if I press the button again, I'll receive another notification, this time saying WLAD is still on. That's because of this if-then automation that I did. If the state of WLAD is on, then send this persistent notification. Else, send this persistent notification. This is how the YAML looks like. Very clear, very understandable if-then else statement that is used in most of the program languages out there. The next new thing in Home Assistant 2022.5 is the calendar trigger, which is very useful, but I'm afraid I cannot demonstrate it right now. Instead, I'm going to try to explain it as best as I can. I have a video tutorial about Home Assistant Google Calendar integration. I'll link it somewhere here. You can go and watch it, and you can add Google Calendars. When you add the Google Calendar in your Home Assistant, you have a menu, dedicated calendar menu, and your Google Calendar will be visible by Home Assistant. When you do that, you can create an automation or script, and you can use this new trigger there. This new trigger will check your Google Calendar, for example, and if there is an event in your Google Calendar, Home Assistant can catch that using this trigger, and additionally you can check for conditions and you can execute actions, Home Assistant actions finally. So you can make a very useful automations, for example, when there is a meeting in your Google Calendar, send a persistent notifications or Telegram notifications or whatever using Home Assistant, which is very, very good. I like that a lot. Next new thing that is introduced in Home Assistant 2022.5 is for each statement. This is only available in YAML for now, and we have a very good example right here. We have two languages, English and Dutch, and two messages, hello world and hello world, or whatever it is. I cannot speak Dutch, I cannot speak English, as you can see. So what this YAML do is for each item in this list will be run against this sequence. So at the end we can expect that we will receive on our phone message in English, hello world. And then again with the same sequence we will receive message in Dutch, hello world. So what this YAML do is the following. Each item of this list will be run against this sequence of actions right here. And the items in this list will be represented as variables. I think we have a little error right here. This shouldn't be a hello. This should be a message in order this for each YAML code to work. but probably they'll fix this for the official release. Continue on error is the next thing. And this is pretty useful, because using this you can allow certain step in the automation or script to fail. So in this particular example, with the first action, this one fails, the second one will execute no matter what. And this is the new boy in town. Continue on error, colon true. So if I add this in my automation here, in this if then else automation example that I did, this is only available in YAML. I can add it right here. Now if this then statement fails, the automation execution will continue. Next thing is stopping a script or automation. You can now stop a script or automation halfway using the stop action. Let's see that. I'll return back to Visual Editor and let's search for, let's add another action actually. I'll add action and I have action type stop. I can define a reason for stopping and I can enable this stop because of unexpected error. Pretty nice. Stop because I want to debug. And now I can move this up. And this will be my first action and I'll save this automation. I'll go to the overview and if I press the A button, which is the trigger of this automation, the automation is not executed, it is stopped immediately on the first action and I didn't receive more notifications here. If I go again to the automations and if I click on this clock button to debug the automation, I'll see that this stop action was executed and the automation didn't check for the if then else statement. Very good, this is very useful for debugging. I like that. Next thing is parallelizing actions. Again we have an example and these actions, these two service calls are executed simultaneously. That means we have a new action type parallel. Let's see it. I'll go back, I'll edit my automation, I'll add a new action and I'll search for run in parallel. Here it is. I can now define two actions that are going to be executed simultaneously. For example, one call service, persistent notification create, message 1, and I'm going to duplicate this, but this time the message will be message 2, for example. And as you can see from this nesting, these two call services will be executed in parallel. I can see this in YAML mode. Yes, exactly as described here, parallel column and the two actions. Now if I move this up a bit before my stop action.
A few moments later.
Okay, it moved up finally. Running parallel is now below my stop action. I'll move it a bit up again. And now this is my first action, run in parallel. I'll click save. No errors. If I go back and if I click the A button, I'll have two notifications, message 1 and message 2, which are sent exactly 2 seconds ago. Good, they are sent in parallel. And there is even more. This one is good. Allow disabling specific triggers, actions, conditions. By adding this enabled false in any trigger, any action or any conditions, you can enable it or disable it. Again, it is only supported in YAML. That is not good. But I hope they'll fix that in the next release. So let's see that. If I copy this enabled false, and if I go again to my test automation, right here I can disable one of the actions. Where is my stop action? Here it is. I can go in YAML and I can say enabled false. Probably I have to add it below. No, it is not working. Why it is not working? Now it is working. This action is now grayed out and I have this disabled label right here. If I change this to true, the disabled label goes away and I have colors again. Good, I like that. It can be very useful from time to time. What we have next, the database optimizations. If you have many sensor generating statistics, they will now take less time to generate. Good. Next, we have update entity updates. You have a skip button now for the updates. Let's see this. I'll go to my configuration. I'll click on this update entity and I can click skip. And this is the new thing. I can now clear the skipped updates. If I click this, the WLAD update is now immediately displayed again. Good, that's useful. If you want to see my free Home Assistant webinar, I'm inviting you personally to go on my website automatealike.pro/webinar and check the 4 official ways to install Home Assistant plus one secret and very stupid easy way to get Home Assistant. Go there, register and instantly start watching my free webinar, which takes about 45 minutes and it can be very useful. I'm Kirill and I'm done speaking. Bye!